Hi,
Hi.
my name is Joanna Mendez. I'm gonna be doing your interview today. You are interviewing for the GI floor, which is a 40-bed units. A little bit about myself. I graduated from Shenandoah University 4 years ago. I've been working with a recruiting team for 2 years already. And I'm gonna be asking you some questions, and I'm gonna be writing your answers. So don't think that I'm not listening to you, and just wanna make sure that I have everything, and I don't forget anything that you say to me. So the first question is just, tell me more about yourself.
Okay, so my name's Summer Spiva.
Okay.
I moved here to Virginia about 6 years ago. I was born and raised in California, actually.
Okay.
I moved here to come live with my dad when I was a sophomore in high school. I then finished high school here. I graduated with advanced diploma. Continued on, took some prereqs at a community college, and then came to Shenandoah University for my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing degree. I just completed that, graduated with Sigma Theta Tau honors, so
Nice.
worked
Good
hard
for
for
you.
that. And then, in the meantime, while I've been going to school, I've also worked part-time as a patient care tech in the critical care unit at Winchester Medical Center. Been there for almost 4 years now, and so yeah.
Okay. Good. And what clinical area are you interested in besides the GI?
I really
why?
like acute care settings. Working in the ICU has taught me a lot. I also, with my capstone, my senior preceptorship, I was in the observation unit, which is part of the ER, so I got to kind of experience that. So I feel like the acute care that I've had in clinicals and in my regular job as a CNA, I've been able to see that, and I think I'll be able to bring that to the GI floor. So.
Okay, good. Can you tell me what is your greatest weakness?
So I think my greatest weakness is probably that I am a perfectionist, and so I like things to be done correctly and right, and I spend a lot of time making sure that my final product of anything is always the best that I can offer. And so I kind of see that as both a strength and a weakness.
Just a strength more, yeah.
But I think in the past it has also kind of held me back because I just always give so much to everything that I do that sometimes it's hard to manage all the tasks because I want to make sure everything's just perfect. So.
Okay. And can you tell me your greatest strength?
I think my greatest strength is that I'm very organized. I'm very detail-oriented, goal-oriented. I like to make lists. I like crossing off my lists. I like to be in control. So I really like to be able to have all of that. So I'm very proud of my organization and my.
Good. Yeah. What type of qualities do you think make a strong manager?
I think being dependable is a huge character trait that you want in one of your managers. It's very important that your managers are holding other people accountable, that that they are making sure the policies are being followed, that they're doing all the appropriate interventions to make sure that the unit's moving smoothly. And then I also think it's important for the manager to be able to understand all areas of the role. So I've always found it valuable when a manager would come and do a night shift every now and then so they could see how night shift worked, because night shift always kind of feels left out because we don't get to see managers. So it's nice when we get to see managers on night shift, and so that they understand the whole picture.
Okay. So just like giving an example, so a patient is frustrated because she was keep waiting for the lab test. How would you handle a frustrated patient?
So I think the first thing with handling a frustrated patient is really understanding why they're frustrated. Is the patient frustrated because their lab result might mean something? Like, is it like a cancer diagnosis? Is it like a lab that's in between them and going home? And so really trying to analyze what it is that the patient is actually frustrated about will really help in diffusing the situation. Of course, things like how long lab results take the result, things like that are out of your control, and you just do the best to make the patient feel comfortable. Let them know that as soon as the result comes back, either you or the doctor will let them know, and then kind of service any other needs they have at the time to try to make them feel better while they're waiting for the lab result.
Good. What do you think are key skills to make an excellent nurse?
It seems kind of obvious, but I think caring is a huge part of what makes a nurse a good nurse. You have to really care about the whole patient. You can't just be managing and taking care of like an illness. You have to look at the whole picture. I really like the concept of holistic nursing, which is kind of mind, body, and soul. You have to look at the whole picture, the family, how is this impacting the patient. If they have pneumonia, you're not just there to give them antibiotics, you're there to help them teach, why did they get pneumonia? How are you going to teach them from getting pneumonia again? How does this affect their job, their hospital stay? Things like that. I think that's a huge part of making an impact on people, making people feel like they care or that they are cared for. And so really taking a holistic approach is very important to me, thinking what makes a good nurse.
Excellent. Good. How do you handle stress?
So the best way I handle stress is making lists. I like to make lists of, like a nursing school, I always have like 3 lists going. I have a big whiteboard calendar, I have a notebook calendar, and then I also have a like a sticky note like on my desktop, because I like to always know what's coming up. I like to know what my commitments are, different meetings I have to attend for work, for school, different assignments that are due. And I like to be able to see that constantly, to always remind myself what's due, to always remind myself what's needed of me. And then it helps me de-stress, because I like to know how long I have to do something, what the deadlines are. And just seeing that de-stresses me, because I just like to see that. But other than making lists and crossing things off, which I find very satisfying, I also like to, de-stress by watching TV and playing with my dogs, which I love.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully in 5 years, I hope to be a established nurse in this GI unit. I hope to eventually move up to a charge nurse position. I have found that I exhibit pretty strong leadership skills. I usually just kind of take charge in group projects and just at work. I've been heads of different committees, even in the Student Nurse Association that I belong to. I'm the chair of a committee. So I find that to be the natural progression of just my strong characteristics of leadership, and so I like to do that. I would like to help other nurses. I would like to be able to be in that position to feel like I make a difference, make a change in the other nurses that I work with. So.
Okay, good. That's good. Okay, so it looks like I have all the questions that I want to ask for you. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, so what's the orientation like for this position?
Okay, so the orientation is 12 weeks. The first week, you basically is gonna be more about like telling you about the facility, how that works, how the system works, and then you're gonna be putting with a preceptor. It's kind of the same thing that you did during your clinical time.
Okay.
While you've been in the nursing school. So you're gonna be with a preceptor. You're gonna be precepting for almost like 10 or 11 weeks. So that's gonna complete your 12 weeks, and by then we're gonna see if you're ready to be put in by yourself and start working with the patients by yourself.
Okay, and what's the scheduling like?
Okay, so our schedule is basically a night shift and day shift. So it's a 12 hours and a half schedule. Is either you're gonna be working either night shift or day shift, and we also require you to work 2 weekends every month. So basically, what it's gonna be, you're gonna be working 1 weekend, and then the next weekend you're gonna be off. So you're always gonna have at least 2 weekends off during every month.
Okay.
Okay.
What are the ratios, like the staffing ratios for nurses and CNAs?
Okay, so for nurses, the maximum patient ratio is 6 patients per nurse. So usually it's around 5 or 6, depends how busy we are. But usually the most that you're gonna get is 6 patients. For the CNA is 10 to 15 patients, which 15 sounds like a lot, but sometimes, some of the patients doesn't require a lot of it. So basically, it's mostly 10 patients per CNA.
Okay, sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay, well, when do you think I can hear back about anything?
So we're still gonna be doing some more interviews, but we're hoping that we can get a decision maybe like in 2 or 3 weeks. So hopefully by 3 weeks you're gonna hear from us.
Okay, well,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Good
You
luck.
too.